It's only been a week into the offseason, but based on what we're hearing, it's pretty clear to me that the Toronto Blue Jays are doing whatever it takes to make this team good again. The Toronto Blue Jays are not retooling and they're not rebuilding. Instead, they are going to be very aggressive on every single free agent, no matter their position. This is a Blue Jays front office that understands that this could be their final chance with Vladdy Jr. and Bichette. And because of that, we're seeing General Manager Ross Atkins fire as many shots as he possibly can. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. In this one, we're going to be breaking down how the Blue Jays plan to get back to competing based on some of the recent reports that we have been seeing. Before we get into it though, I encourage you guys to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any future Blue Jays updates. Now, contrary to popular belief, it looks like the Blue Jays are not backing down this winter. We have seen the Blue Jays be very aggressive on a lot of different free agents already. We've heard the reports about the Blue Jays going, quote, all in for the top free agent this winter, Juan Soto, as well as expressing interest in some middle infield positions such as Ha-Seong Kim and Gleyber Torres. We've even heard a report from Jon Heyman that the Blue Jays are going, quote, all in as well on one of the top starting pitchers in this market, Max Fried. It clearly doesn't matter what position a player plays. If they are an average to an above average hitter or pitcher, the Toronto Blue Jays will be calling your agency and asking what your price tag is. The Blue Jays are even willing to go as far as changing the entire defensive makeup on their team if it means getting a big bat into their lineup. There's another report from Jon Heyman that the Blue Jays are willing to move Vladdy Jr. over to third base if it means bringing in a big bat like Pete Alonso. It's clear to me that the Blue Jays are casting a very wide net this free agency and hoping they get a couple of bites. Now, what problems do the Blue Jays actually face in convincing all these boatload of new players to actually come over to the Toronto Blue Jays? Well, there's quite a few. First of all, the Blue Jays don't have a clear future beyond 2025. Vladdy Jr. and Bichette are on their final years next season, and the management hasn't made any significant strides to locking either of them down long term. The one thing we do know is that it feels like Bichette will be on this team in 2025. Ross Atkins was asked if he receives any offers for Bichette this winter. That answer will be an easy no. Ross was also asked about the Vladdy Jr. contract negotiations, where he said, I'm not going to talk about anything that relates to negotiating a contract. So it appears like we'll never really know whether the Blue Jays are close to a deal with Vladdy until he either has a deal or he doesn't. But the problem here is this: how can the Blue Jays convince quality free agents that are looking for 2, 3, or 4-year deals to play for the Blue Jays when they may be left stranded on this losing ball club by the end of their contracts? No player is going to want to play on a losing team and by the end of their deals being forced to carry the entire weight of the ball team. Knowing you have an elite player like Vladdy Jr. you can depend on for the entire tenure of your contract is reassuring, to say the least. Secondly, it's going to be hard to convince players that we're going to be a winning ball club when we just won 74 games last season. And taking a look at the roster of this team, unless there is a bunch of significant changes that happen this winter, it's going to be very hard to convince that this team will win again. And finally, the money problem. Hey guys, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below or click the link in the description to join the action. Available in Ontario only, must be 19 years older to participate, and guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content. Mark Shapiro has come out and said that the Blue Jays are going to roughly spend what they did last year, which is about $40 million. And that's certainly not enough money to buy multiple quality players to turn this team around, especially when it comes to the bullpen. And Ross Atkins has said in regards to that bullpen, you have to be creative in that area. You're certainly going to have to be very creative with that type of budget going into this winter with the type of holes you have on this roster. So with all that being said, guys, it's unclear that this gun-blazing strategy is going to actually work when you look at the reality of the Blue Jays roster situation. But I do think if the Blue Jays want to try and compete next year, this is probably the best strategy you have. And of course, like one of the great Canadian players of all time has said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, Blue Jays, keep firing, guys. Guys, you let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, guys, go Jays go.